Hi, welcome back to the Virtue Bowling Supply YouTube channel. My name is Chris and I'm here to bring you guys the high rev perspective.
And my name is Josh and I'll be bringing the low rev perspective.
Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Columbia 300 Street Rally, and I'm going to be comparing that to the Track Paragon Shadow and the Hammer Zero Mercy Pearl.
And I'll be comparing it to the DV8 Severe Collision and the Brunswick Combat. These comparisons will give us and you an idea of what these pieces look like going down the lane. At the end, we will give our honest, unbiased review anywhere from nuts to trash. We are here at Bolero Mesa on a fresh house shot. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you out on the lanes.
This one, to me, felt somewhat niche. Honestly, I needed to move a little bit further left from where I was initially, just because I felt like the friction response was really strong. The core was pretty big, so I felt like that kind of combination of being kind of earlier, but still really quick to friction kind of put me in a weird spot. But the further I moved left, the better this one looked, and the more I could kind of open up my angles and use that friction response to get it around the corner, and that bigger core not being too angular and being a little bit more forward through the pins. Ball motion definitely looked better when I moved a little bit further left. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw the Zero Mercy Pearl and see how that compares. All right, now the Zero Mercy Pearl is definitely a stronger core than the Street Rally, in my opinion. I feel like I really needed to open up my angles even more with the Zero Mercy Pearl and be a little bit closer to the friction, just because it didn't want to come off spot quite as much. You could tell it wanted to be early and rounded shape, but definitely wasn't quite as clean and off spot as the Street Rally. Now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Paragon Shadow and see how that compares. Now the Paragon Shadow is definitely a ball I would go to before the Street Rally. I can definitely tell how much earlier it wanted to hook and be a little bit more smoother down lane. The hybrid cover, it was definitely a little bit stronger than the Street Rally's Pearl cover. Personally, when I would throw the Paragon Shadow on, there's a little bit more oil in the lanes and something you can get to start up just a little bit sooner. I definitely think the shape off of the end of the patterns were actually pretty close compared to both of these, but the Paragon Shadow definitely wanted to see it just a little bit sooner. All right, final thoughts on the Street Rally. To me, honestly, I feel like it fits somewhere in between Met and Fire. Felt to me it was slightly too niche to be in the Fire category. The second half of the shots when I moved a little bit further left kind of started to convince me that it was, but it felt like it had to be very specific in where I needed to put it on the lane to make it go through the pins the right way. Moving it around the lane, when I had to play a little bit straighter, I really needed to kind of force it and be a little bit more forward just because of the friction response. So for me, I feel like I would put this in the Met category just because I don't think it's quite as versatile as other pieces that kind of fit in that spot.
Just finished up throwing 10 shots with the new Columbia 300 Street Rally. This ball for me was a little surprising out of box, but I really enjoyed the way this ball shaped. I did like the original Rally, but it for me was just a little too big for me to love it. The Street Rally is something different. I felt like it was in that cleaner asymmetrical shape, but still was big. It kind of reminded me of kind of like the one Ovation that just came out, or kind of like along the sides of like a Dark Code, but really big, really early, and it actually wanted to get off spot in oil. So for me, this ball just felt like it actually was blending the lane out, which again, like wasn't really super expecting. I was expecting it to be a little cleaner, more down lane, but a lot bigger than anticipated. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the DV8 Severe Collision and see how it compares. Just threw 5 shots with the severe collision. This ball for me was definitely a little earlier, a little smoother down lane, not as quick to friction, but still you could see how it wanted to be a little bit more overall, like cleaner through the front part of the lane for me. I did feel like the Street Rally was more tumbly in a sense, more forward versus the severe, even though severe was earlier, but wasn't as like, just a little bit more quick off of the spot down lane. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the Brunswick Combat and see how it compares. Just threw 5 shots with the Brunswick Combat. This ball for me was one of those cleaner asymmetrical pearls where I felt like it got about a zone further than the Street Rally down lane. It allowed me to play a little straighter and be even a little softer with it at the bottom. But for me, this ball is starting to grow on me, but I did feel like if I need a bigger ball when they're a little harder, a little bit more, just more oil on the lane, the Street Rally is definitely going to be the ball of choice. The Combat I would argue, would be like a step down from the Street Rally for sure. Final thoughts on the Street Rally. For me, this ball was kind of a little bit of a shocker. I wasn't necessarily expecting to strike as much as I did with it. Because of that, this one for me is going to have to be a fire. I really enjoyed the shape. I felt like I was able to have a little bit of misroom in both directions, and I did feel like it was quick enough off spot, but still early enough to where I knew exactly what the ball was going to do. So fire for today.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys found this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.